Kia ora anō. Just a little bit about my thoughts on stories and some of the stories that we hear and hear talk about, and sometimes they're declared as far out, and we tend to look at them like that, but I don't look at them like that. For example, the story of Maui, who's credited with fishing up the North Island from his canoe, which is the South Island, and often referred to as a myth or something not quite legit, I suppose you could say. But for me, as a person here, I think of those stories that they have to be creative. So our tupuna are really creative in how they told stories so that we would never forget. So when you cut away the storytelling and that, for me, Maui discovered this country we call Aotearoa. And the story of Maui is a beautiful story, and so he is the original discoverer of Aotearoa, according to me. That's how I read these stories. And then you look at the same, how we got the name Aotearoa. When Kupe came looking for this land, as they approached the top of the country up north there, there was a cloud mass above the land, and his wife, Tamatea Pōkaiwhenua, called out, "He ao, he ao," and Kupe then gave the name Aotearoa, which is the long white cloud that was above the land mass. And so that's how that amazing story reminds us of how we got the name of our land that Maui founded, one part of what Maui founded. So these stories are really amazing, and I love them. And whenever I hear people telling stories, I look for what are they trying to say to me. So in the Maui story, Maui stood on Te Waipounua, which is named Te Waka a Maui in those days, and pulled up Te Ika a Maui, which is the North Island. And that's how I see it. He's the discoverer, the original discoverer. And for Aotearoa, the name stuck, He ao, Aotearoa, the land of the long white cloud. So Aotea is a cloud, Roa is a long cloud. So, and then we get the Taumata Whakatangianga, that's even more amazing sort of a story. And there are many others. Everywhere, everyone's takiwa, wherever they live, there are amazing stories, and that's how they explain things so we don't forget those histories. And there are many in Ngāti Kahungunu, beautiful stories. And also in our other side, Rangitane, beautiful stories. In fact, every year we have beautiful stories, amazing stories, far out stories that leave messages for subsequent generations to remember by. So Tamatea lived hundreds of years ago, but his name is still remembered through the Te Taumata Whakatangianga, ko wau o Tamatea turi pūkaka piki maunga o nuku Pōkaiwhenua Pōkai moana ki kana tahu. What an amazing name, and it tells a lot about the person. So if we did a PhD study on that, it would take us all that time to figure out all those places that he went to, how he named places, and how places were named after him. So that's how I see stories. I love stories, and I think we should tell more of them when we want people to remember them. maybe someone will tell a really good story about Henare Kani and how massive he was one day, and then they'll be talking about it 500 years from now. Who knows? Kia ora tātou.
Kia ora, uncle.
Mm.